In the era of artificial intelligence, the world is moving so fast. Do you think teachers will get replaced in future by AI?
Whether we like it or not, we are human beings.
Producing leaders and producing employees is different thing. If we are producing a lot of employees, it doesn't mean that we are going on a right track.
Effective leader is someone who leads with a heart. As a leader, they need to contribute to the society.
If I ask you to fill in the blank, Miss Lim is alumni of, what you will say?
Alumni of my university where I graduated from.
That's what my question is.
Yeah.
We never give credit to school. We always mention university or college.
I see, okay, I get what you mean.
So do you think there's a gap?
Yeah, there's definitely a gap. Quality in education. So is quality education only accessible to the top students? So what about those who are not so academically inclined?
Let's suppose a child is there who is not good at cramming.
You are not just teachers. You are also a doctor. You need to be able to understand your learners. Learning should go beyond.
Welcome, Miss Lim, to this podcast known as Let's Talk Education. And interesting to have you on this podcast. I hope our audience will understand the Malaysian education system.
All right.
And we will be talking about the realistic education system of Malaysia, how it works, and how it is different from other part of the world, and what we are adopting. A lot of questions, of course, I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
Before we start, I just want your brief introduction, what you do, what your vision is, and why you started this school, and your school name and everything.
All right, okay. That's a very interesting question. So let me introduce myself.
Yeah.
I'm Miss Lim. In fact, all my parents and students call me Miss Lim. Okay, that's very easy to remember. Now, I'm actually an educator. So I started my education career as an English teacher. Of course, after a few years, I was promoted to be a principal of the school. So I have actually led different schools. So I have actually worked in Chinese independent schools in Malaysia. I have worked in the private schools in Malaysia, and of course the international schools in Malaysia as well. So now I have actually started my own international school, which is called Lead International School. So why the school is named as Lead International School? Because it resembles my vision, okay, and my thought about how I would like to nurture my students. I want them to be future leaders. So that's the reason why we gave this name as Lead
Short
International
form of
School.
leaders is lead.
Lead,
Okay,
yes.
you just lead.
L-E-A-D,
Okay.
Lead
Great.
International School. Yeah. So talking about the Malaysia education landscape, I would say it is really very interesting, right? So Malaysia is a multicultural country, as you know. So even for the education landscape, it is very diverse. Okay, so we do have the Malaysian government schools, which runs the Malaysian government syllabus. And of course, we have the Chinese private schools, okay, which actually trying the best to preserve Chinese education and Chinese culture. And then, of course, we have the private schools and the international schools. These schools aim to provide quality education for students who are looking for other alternatives rather than doing the government schools syllabus. Yeah. So the international school that I'm running is actually, we are doing the Cambridge syllabus. Yeah.
Right. How is school started?
Okay.
What is the vision?
Yeah,
behind
that's
that?
a very interesting history. Okay. So what happened was that after my last portfolio with an international school in Malaysia, that was, I think, in the midst of MCO. Okay. So I had a few parents who approached me. Since I was an English teacher, they asked me to start a tuition class.
Okay.
So I started as a tuition center, giving English supplementary classes for students who are struggling in English. After opening the tuition classes for a few months, I had parents who actually approached me and asked me to open homeschools. Okay. Homeschools, the idea of homeschools in Malaysia is just like a learning center where students would come to you for, different kind of syllabus. They learn from you, but it's in a smaller setting. all right? So like a shop lot. So I started in a shop lot. I remember the very first batch we started was, there were 28 students, 28 of them, okay? So trying our very best to help the students to learn. Why students would opt for homeschool rather than international school? Because during that time, it was right after COVID. And we noticed there were a lot of learning difficulties faced by the students. And students, after going back to school, we see that they were not able to write, not able to read because of the prolonged online learning. They are not really helping the students to learn effectively. Yeah, especially for the younger students. So they came to us, and somehow our team, my academic team, we were able to address their learning difficulties quite effectively. So word spread, word of mouth. The schools actually grew from the very first batch, 28. Within a year, we had 100 over students. 2 years, we have 200 over. So I told myself we couldn't do homeschool anymore because it's no longer a homeschool.
Yeah.
So I had to actually go all the way to look for the right location, the right building to host them, and to upgrade ourselves as an international school. So by the third year, we got our license from the Ministry of Education, and we finally was accredited as a Cambridge school, and we got our status as an international school.
Amazing. Yeah. So you mentioned Malaysia is having a diverse population,
Yes,
diverse
that's
countries,
right. Yes.
people. So how you see as a benefit of being diversified in so many languages, so many cultures, so many countries?
I would say that this is indeed our competitive advantage as a Malaysian because of the diverse culture that we are having. Our students pick up language quite easily. Yeah. So, for example, like if I travel to other countries, people who know Malaysians, they are really amazed with the language skills that we have. So like Malaysia, in average, we can speak 3 to 4 languages.
Okay.
Yeah. So even for myself, even if for me, when I run the Cambridge syllabus, even though it is English medium, I would encourage students to take Mandarin and still taking Malay. I still emphasize a lot on learning our national language as international students. They still need to learn our national language to help them to gain the competitive advantage in the society. Yeah, because multilingualism is very important.
Right.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that your school name is LEAD, and you
Yes.
want to create leaders across the world.
Yeah.
What is the foundation to create leaders? If you want to teach your thought process to school in India or back in Pakistan or other part of the world, what are the foundation of your school which actually is creating leaders?
Right. Okay. I still want to emphasize this. An effective leader is someone who leads with a heart. So the slogan of our school is built with heart, trusted by families. Okay, so back to the education of heart. Right. So even though we emphasize a lot on academic excellence, but I feel that the foundation to build an effective leader is about building their heart, educating the heart. So for our school, the niche area of our school is that we actually incorporate service learning, community service, service learning, and also alongside.
Can you elaborate service learning?
Okay, right. All our students are compulsory. They are made compulsory to serve the community. They have to go for our community service program at least once in a term.
Can you give an example? What kind of service?
Okay, so they would go to orphanages. They would go to a center who actually serve people with disabilities. Okay, and then they will even go for plogging, pick up rubbish, by the streets. Go to the beach and pick up rubbish, so the sustainability, all right, environmental cleanliness, so all our students have to do this kind of service, so there's no option. I know some schools make it as an option, but for our school, there's no option. They have to do it, and after they come back, they need to share their reflection.
And why do you think this is a very strong pillar of your school?
This is a very strong pillar of our school.
Why do you think?
Okay, because I feel that as a leader, they need to contribute to the society. Yeah, all right. An effective leader is someone who would contribute to the society. So I always tell the students, I say, learning is not just about, gaining knowledge. And because of your knowledge, you are able to be a professional who earn a lot. And because of that, you live a very comfortable life. We shouldn't stop there.
Yeah.
Learning should go beyond. Yeah. It should really go beyond what we want to do. Okay. It should really go beyond in the sense that it should serve the people. This is what I believe.
Amazing. Yeah. So I'm sure when you're sitting in Malaysia, you used to compare schools with Indian schools, education system, or any other country education system, let it be UK education system or Canada education system, Australia education system, US education system. Have you find any good thing in Malaysian education system which you think it's missing across the world?
All right. Okay. Like I mentioned, multicultural diversity is something that you can't really find anywhere in the world, but in Malaysia. Okay, multicultural in terms of language, understanding of each other's culture, and because of that, we actually inculcate respect, right? Empathy towards each other. I think this is something that is really unique in Malaysia education landscape. Yeah,
and how
you can't really find it anywhere else in the world.
But how you see Chinese education system? Because if you see whole world takes inspiration from China, right? If we talk about their production in terms of technology or whatever they create is mind blowing.
Right.
Sometimes you even can't think what China is producing. I'm sure whosoever is producing was student sometime.
Yes.
So what is a difference in education system of China and Malaysia? Where you think you are lacking or education system of Malaysia is lacking?
That is a very good question. I have quite a lot of students from China doing English courses with us. Okay, all right. And this is what I see. It's not like there's something wrong with the China education system. They are really fantastic.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so they are really good at producing top-notch students who are really competitive, good results and all that. But I think there's something missing. There's a gap, quite a big gap, okay? Because I think as educators, we know that all students, they grow at different phase. Some are fast learners, but some are slower.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think China, the country is so big that the population is so big that they are only taking care of the good ones, the excellent ones. And there are some, I would say they're not so good. I would just say that probably their growth is not there yet, So these students, they have to look for other alternatives. And this is where they would come to Malaysia. Why Malaysia? Because, like I mentioned, Malaysia is a multicultural country. We have Chinese, we have Indians, we have Malays, yeah. So these students from China, they would come and they would actually really enjoy the way we educate the students. I would say for us, we sort of like provide an alternative and option for students who think that they can't really cope the high pressure in China. And when they come to Malaysia, they are really enjoying learning. Okay.
But my question is, if, like being an Indian, we see China as an inspiration in terms of the kind of production they do or the kind of technology they develop.
Right.
We always follow China. I'm sure Malaysia always follow China.
Yes, we
or
do.
US also follow China. Somewhere US is bigger than China. But in terms of technology, in terms of development, in terms of creating something crazy, China is ahead than all of our countries. Whether we call it all the Asian countries, Southeast Asian countries or Western or developed countries as well. What is the difference between you think they have in their education system? I'm sure it must be education system, right? What is the difference we as an Indian education system or Malaysian education system or China education system? What is the difference they have in their system which is creating, such tremendous outcome, I'll say?
Well,
as you work with...
If you ask me, I think it is the big population that they have.
population,
you know.
we also have big population.
But they are really, really competitive. Okay, so if you look at, I mean, I have visited some schools in China.
Yeah.
They really emphasize on discipline. Okay, if you look at their curriculum, okay, I have to admit that in terms of the level of difficulty for science and maths,
even
they are
for
two
example,
levels more advanced than Malaysia.
Even we are sitting in right now in Malaysia. You are from Malaysia. I'm from India. We are able to communicate because of we have a common language, that is English.
Right.
They don't have common language as well. Most of the Chinese people don't know how to speak in English, but still they are ruling across the world. So that's the difference I want to understand from you, what your perspective between Chinese school and Malaysian school.
Like I say, Chinese school in general, even the Chinese school in Malaysia, they are well known for their discipline, competitiveness, and their syllabus is actually more difficult. I mean, when it comes to the Mandarin, math, and science. Okay, so if you are an excellent student, you are academically inclined, you are able to actually follow. Okay, all right. Of course, if you follow that set of syllabus and if you yourself are disciplined enough, you are competitive enough, you are able to climb to the top. Okay, so when you are at the top, when you are competing, and that's where good products, good technology, will be innovated, will be created, because you are actually together with a group of top-notch people. Okay, but I think when it comes to education, we need to look at the more humanistic side of the society. Like I mentioned, not all are like that. Not all are excellent academically. Not all are really excellent in terms of learning. So what about those who are slower? Who is taking care of them? Okay, so that's the reason why we are talking about equality in education. We are talking about what we call inclusivity, how to include these people. All right. So like the Cambridge framework, they do talk about all this inclusivity, equality in education. So is quality education only accessible to the top students, to those who are excellent? So what about those who are not so academically inclined? What would they do? How would we play our part to help them to discover their talents?
What you do in that case? What your school do?
Good question. So, for example, one of the center that I have is actually Special Need Learning Center. Okay, so this learning center is to actually cater for students who have learning difficulties.
Okay.
All right. And the reason why we do that is that I believe in equality in education. Yeah. Okay.
Let's assume and explain with one example.
Right.
It will be more easy for audience to understand. Let's suppose a child is there who is not good at cramming.
Yes.
Right. And of course, when cramming is not there, education system and the child goes, in opposite direction.
Right.
So what do you do in that case?
Okay, good. Instead of letting go, giving up, which this is what usually happen in a big class, or a competitive class.
Absolutely.
We actually try our best to figure out what happened to this child. So we get clinical psychologists to assess them, what is the learning difficulties, all right, and how we can actually help to build the child, all right. So like for our school, one thing about school is that we emphasize on small class size learning. Okay, so our class size is about 17 students.
Okay.
We don't have 30, 40, 50 in our class, 17 students. Why? Because we want to actually provide quality education to the students. And we want to be able to pay attention to those students who are struggling in learning.
Individual attention.
Yes, correct. So if we figure out that some students, if they have really learning difficulties, we will help them to really do assessment. We are just like a doctor. I always tell my teachers, you are not just teachers. You are also a doctor.
You have to diagnose the problem.
You have to diagnose, correct. Yeah. That is the right terminology. You have to diagnose what is their learning difficulties. You don't just go about giving them facts, figures, don't. You need to be able to understand your learners. You need to do diagnosis tests. what happened, why, and then what are the interventions that we can give them. It's just like treatment. Our intervention is like treatment. So whether you're an effective educator or not, it's equivalent to an effective doctor. Can you give the right treatment or not?
If you're not able to give right treatment, of course, you're not going on the right track.
Yes, correct.
So do we have, if I talk about Malaysian education system, do you think teachers are passionate for teaching? And how
I would say
how
in
are they paid?
general, general, I believe that yes. Yeah. But of course, there are a lot of issues and factors that demotivate teachers. For example, parents, they would come and interference of parents, all right? And a lack of communication and understanding between parents, students, and teachers, yeah? Okay, and high expectation, I think unrealistic expectation. Not just high expectation, unrealistic expectation on teachers. So these are the, I would say, factors that is actually demotivating the teachers. Of course, sometimes behavioral problems, discipline, in students. So all this will definitely affect the motivation of
how is the
parents.
Pay scale of teachers in Malaysia?
Pay scale. Malaysian ringgit, if you are a fresh grad from university, 2,500 to 3,000. Okay. If you are more experienced one, so it will be ranging from 4,000 to 5,500. If you are the really good teachers, really experienced and with master degree and above, 6,000 to 8,000. Yeah.
Okay. So do you think the pay scale is too low here in Malaysia to keep them motivating, or
it is quite fair in a sense. If you compare to other industry, it is still not that bad.
Still not bad.
Yeah, it's still not that bad.
But do you think it should be increased? Though it's a very difficult question to answer because being an owner, it's always
I remember I started with very, very low pay.
Okay.
I started with a very, very low pay.
And what was your first pay? If you don't mind.
1,600.
1,600. And how old the pay is when you started getting this pay?
I was 28 years old.
Okay.
Started teaching first year, 1,600. Yeah. So, but I always tell the teachers, don't just look for pay. Okay. You create your own value. As a teacher, how much we can earn in Malaysia is really depending on how much value you can create. I have teachers teaching tuition classes. They are really famous tutors. Good tutors in terms of providing, solution and effective in their teaching. Yeah, they can really earn a lot. They can even earn 5 figures. Yeah, so it's about creating our own value. So a lot of times we just look at the general pay, but I think we should stop arguing about the general pay. We should look at how we can build ourselves up as a teacher.
And how you consider Indian education system?
In Malaysia?
Overall, Indian education system.
Indian education, that is a very interesting question because I've not visited any school in India. I don't think I can really comment much. Okay. So I can't really say so, but the impression that I have is that it seems like India is producing top-notch engineers. Okay. For example, like I heard from my friends who are actually working in the Silicon Valley, US. They say there are a lot of Indian engineers. I believe that your country is really doing great at producing, high-tech people, high-tech talents.
And I don't find it a proud thing because producing leaders and producing employees is different thing. If we are producing a lot of employees, it doesn't mean that we are going on a right track. Our country proudly says we have a CEO, Microsoft CEO is Indian, Google CEO is Indian. It's just CEO, not a founder. There's a difference,
Right.
When I talk about AI, of course AI is created by someone who's sitting in US, but he's not Indian. But he made a thought process, but eventually was done by Indians. Like you mentioned, engineers are a lot of engineers are produced by Indians. So in the era of artificial intelligence, the world is moving so fast. Do you think teachers will get replaced in future by AI?
I don't think so.
Why?
Yeah. Whether we like it or not, okay, we are human beings.
Yeah.
So in terms of the emotional touch, social touch, this is something that AI cannot replace. Yeah. So this is what I strongly believe.
AI usually says when we train AI, that can be trained with emotional touch as well. Better than human touch, human emotional touch.
I mean,
but let's suppose if AI is trained in such a way that it can help you in getting emotionally involved as well, then what do you think? Teachers will be replaced by AI.
Okay.
Efficiency will increase, of course.
Of course, efficiency will increase. I believe in that. I still believe that, okay, probably some of the functions can be replaced by AI. Okay. I have also heard about, theories like they can even make robot to be so real that they are like human beings.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. And so at that point of time, if you ask me whether can AI or robot replace the job of teachers or not, it is still a big question mark. To me, I feel it's still a big question mark. Yeah.
It's not a question mark. We are not ready to digest this thing. Being an educator, we always felt like, because it's when we teach, emotional touch is very much required. But yes, my belief says, or whatever is happening so fast, my prediction says eventually robots will come in such a way they are more emotional than human being as well. It's just a training. So if you can train a machine thinking everything and producing everything, and definitely they can be trained with emotions as well. If that happens, do you think education system will be all replaced by robots or
I would say
humans?
not a
artificial intelligence,
not a full replacement. Yeah. Okay. I think no matter how human beings still have something that AI do not have. All right. So probably a switch of role or some function may be replaced, but I don't think AI can fully take over. Yeah.
So the world is moving so fast. Specifically, if I focus on AI or robotics or coding, do you think your school is adaptive in adopting these technologies?
Okay, we do offer coding programming classes.
Okay.
We do have ICT classes and things like that. But if you ask me whether are we really on track, okay, or are we really good at delivering this part, I think there is still room for improvement.
So how you are planning to make this improvement happen in your school?
Of course, we have to work with people who are really capable in this, field.
Industry.
Yeah. And we can't do it alone. So that's the reason why I believe that, as a school, we can't really provide the full experience to the students just by ourselves. Okay, we need to work with different industries to actually provide good education experience for the students. Yeah.
What is your belief on collaboration?
Collaboration. I believe in collaboration. I'm very fond of collaboration.
So tomorrow you will be meeting almost school owners and principals from across different 55 countries or 40 countries.
Yeah.
What do you think? What kind of collaboration you will be looking for?
I think in terms of exchange, okay, pedagogical exchange, teaching and learning exchange, students exchange in terms of cultural understanding, language, probably even technology.
Yeah. How much you spend on trainings?
How much I spend on training? Okay, at the moment.
Specifically on your teachers, on your educators.
How do you want me to put a figure? Or
let's suppose if I talk about myself, I want to upgrade myself every day. I want to learn new things, and I spend a lot on different type of courses, learning different technologies, or you can say maybe sometime I find a course on sales, but that's not my forte. Still, I buy that course and learn from that. So that comes under training because I want to upgrade myself. Now, if I talk about an employee, specifically a school teacher or a school educator or whatever we call, they usually don't have much money to spend on themselves for upgrading, or maybe they don't have vision. They're happy with that because as I mentioned, the world is moving so fast. The training is very important. The upgradation is very important. So school plays a very important role in spending money and training them. How much you spend on training?
Okay. I would say we organize staff training, okay, every term. Okay, we invite trainers from outside. We do give them training.
What kind
And
of
we
trainings?
give them training on pedagogy, on behavioral management, more on this. Yeah. Okay. Now, not so much on AI. Of course, we have training for, like, for example, Google Classroom, how to use Google Classroom, to enhance their teaching.
Experience,
Yes, we do have
teacher.
that. We do encourage self-learning. Okay, we encourage them to go for higher pursuit.
Yeah.
So we will usually sponsor them, but it comes with terms and conditions. So we do have all this as well. Yeah.
There's a statement in across the world. Let's take an example of Mark Zuckerberg. He created a $1 trillion company now, Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's a dropout. He never went to college or never completed his graduation. And statement comes in public, says education doesn't give anything to me, or whatever happens, it happens with collaboration, experience, learning, travel, a lot of things. But still, we create or we focus on education system where we want everyone should get educated and learn something out of it.
Right.
So do you believe in this statement?
Yes and no.
And why yes and why no?
You see, everyone actually started with some basic education. Yeah, and I mean, unless the child is from probably difficult countries. Yeah, okay, they're always at war. They don't have a proper school to go to. So let's not talk about this group. Okay, if you are in countries like a peaceful country, all children go to school. They start with school system. They learn the basic ABC. Language skills, mathematical skills, at least to a certain level before they start to venture into other things. Yeah, whether you go to university or not, or you stop halfway or what. But I mean, think about it. You do have some foundation.
Yeah.
Okay. You do have the experience of going to a school. You do learn something from schools, and then from there, after the general education, you want to choose your own path. Whether you want to continue in university or you want to start your own company or whatever, that is totally up to you. Yeah. So that's why I would say yes and no. Yes, in a sense that after your general education, whether is it compulsory to go to university, or will university pathway guarantee you a success? That is a very different story. Okay. So, but I still believe in learning. Okay. And that itself is still education.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
If I ask you to fill in the blank, Miss Lim is alumni of, what you will say?
Alumni of my university where I graduated from.
That's what my question is.
Yeah.
We never give credit to school. We always mention university or college.
I see. Okay, I get what you mean.
So, alumni is, for example, I went to school, high school.
Right.
I spent almost 15 years of my life in school, and then just 3 years or 4 years in my graduation. Still, I say I'm alumni of this university. I never mention I'm alumni of this school. Why there is a statement, or why there's a gap.
Right.
Why school is not able to create that feeling among a child after graduating or after completing schooling. Why people mention just university or college name, why not school name?
Yes, correct. I think that's
and
because
it is not happening in India. It is happening across the world. Even you are from Malaysia, and I ask you alumni.
It's true.
You mention about your university, not school.
It's true.
So do you think there's a gap?
Yeah, there's definitely a gap. Now you mentioned this, there's a gap, like what you say. And I believe that it is very natural for us to sort of like remember our learning experience in, the higher education. Why? Probably that's the closest to us, right? So that's the reason. That's very sort of like natural for us to say we are alumni of such university. And I think for primary and secondary school, a lot of times, especially during my times, they don't really have alumni club or active alumni club like university.
It's not about club only. It's about the contributing back where you got something. For example, we are always eager to contribute something in our university, but we are not always eager to contribute something in our school.
But I'm eager to contribute something back to my primary school and my secondary school.
But I'm talking about the whole scenario. I'm talking about the common statement which comes across, if I talk about across the world.
Probably I would link that to maybe our social understanding. You know, we want status. So we want to tell people which university we graduate from.
Then what is the point of spending 15 years in a school if you are looking for just social credibility?
I think that's something that we really need to reflect. Yeah. Now you raise the question. Yes, we need to really reflect.
I think this question can help you in understanding or making a education system of your school in such a way that kids, after passing through your school and after passing from your school, should start saying, I'm alumni of this school rather than university.
I have just started, an alumni club for our Lim International School. And because we want to keep track with how our graduates, are doing. So that's the reason why I feel that, there must be a sense of belonging, to the community. That's very important. And honestly speaking, a lot of times after these students have graduated, when they come back and speak to the students,
that gives different feeling,
yes, correct.
Different connection.
A very strong connection, yes, correct.
So how often you invite your alumni? And
we had our first batch, which has just graduated last year. So far, we did mention we wanted to invite them, to come back and give a talk to the students. So it's not happening yet, but it will be soon. So we are thinking to invite them back to motivate those students who will be taking O-level exam.
Yes.
So they want to hear from the seniors how they cope with their preparation and all that.
So if you want to give a message to whole education community across the world through this podcast about Malaysian education system and proudly says that we are best in this thing in our education system, what is that message?
Multiculturalism, multi-language.
But countries, for example, diverse population countries like us, we can't invite people from across the world and live in our country because of population. So there's no diverse population or multicultural is missing.
Yes.
So how we can adopt learning from a country like Malaysia or education system like Malaysia?
So let's say, for example, for India, maybe you can start with some encourage students to learn different languages. You can have some activities in schools, like, for example, organizing international days, to help students to understand and do research on, different countries. Probably can start from there.
Right.
So that is something more practical to do.
Amazing. It's very good to find a lot of things and learn a lot of things from you, specifically from Malaysian education system. Yes, the point you focused is very important. Teaching them emotions, teaching them, stay grounded. Like you mentioned, they serve community. It's a compulsory kind of thing.
Yes.
I'm sure these kind of things, empathy, sympathy, it's very important to teach in education system. Specifically when we talk about when we want to make them grow in their life. Yes, and this is very true. Artificial intelligence can replace everything, but I feel sometimes it can't be replaced. In education system specifically, when we have to teach sympathy, empathy, emotions, such skills, because I count it as a skill only. So nice to have you on this podcast, and it was wonderful talking and understanding about the Malaysian education system.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming.